Let's go. Let's go. Good evening, everybody. This is Donald from the Yankified podcast. I'm coming in hot, baby. I am coming in hot. I love the smell of bullshit in the morning. That's what I'm getting. So, I woke up in the morning, right? As you do, you go for your piss, you have your coffee, and I'm going through Twitter as you do. I'm thinking to myself, what's the inspiration for today's show? What am I going to talk about? Because, it's the same old, same old. The Dodgers signed the entire roster of free agency. The Mets keep talking about the Yankees, and the Yankees lose another Japanese superstar. Just the same day, it's just an average day, Yankee land. And I'm thinking, what are we going to talk about? And then I came across Joel Sherman's article. The Yankees still have work cut out for them to crisis-proof the roster and where they should look. Good article. Joel Sherman is the man. I think he's probably the best writer out there that we have. And he's saying that, really? The Yankees are in a holding pattern. According to agents and opposing teams, the Yankees are in a holding pattern, with the sense that they want to clear as much of Stroman's $18 million 2025 obligation as possible to free up dollars to shop elsewhere. With the caveat that there's still such a deep stable of free agent starters available, including Jack Flaherty, Kyle Gibson, Andrew Heaney, Nick Pivetta, Max Scherzer, it's not going to be easy to execute a Stroman trade, at least not in the short run. So, if that is true, and the Yankees refuse to spend a single dollar until they get rid of Stroman's salary, then it's bullshit. That is such bullshit. And now I'm pissed. Congratulations, Yankees. You pissed me off again. So, let me explain why this is bullshit. The luxury tax isn't taken into account until the end of this coming season. So the Yankees crying poverty over Marcus Stroman, who you signed, is so ridiculous. The Yankees there is no hard cap. There is no salary cap. Whatever Hal tries to mouthpiece to you guys, there is no salary cap. It's not the NBA. There isn't a salary cap going into the season. That's just the fact. Okay? You can dispute it. You can argue against the wall, but that's just the fact. The CBT isn't taken into account until the end of this season, so there's really no reason for Marcus Stroman to completely shut down Yankee business. That is an embarrassment. That's bullshit number one. Bullshit number two, the Yankees have a lot more to work out than crisis-proofing the roster. The Yankees have no third baseman. That is just a fact. They don't have a third baseman. And they're short of at least one bat. At least one bat. So, and they're short of at least two lefty arms out of the bullpen. So, this idea that Marcus Stroman is shutting them down is a terrible look from the Yankees. It's an awful look, and it should never, ever be accepted. And that's why I have a podcast. Because I'm not going to sit by idly and watch PR happen. A lot of PR, because the Yankees love the PR. All that PR without someone calling shit for shit. Because you can't bullshit me, man. I got a degree in calling out bullshit. So let's say hello to the chat. What have we got? Come on, guys. Everybody in the chat. Hit that like button. Hit the subscription button. I got my guys. We got the OGs. So let's say hello to the OGs. We got Chris the Flash. What's Chris the Flash got to say here? At work, but I hit the like, and I'll watch when I get off. Thank you, Chris. I hope you enjoy the show when you check it out. I hope work is going okay. I mean, My guy working hard on a Saturday. Says it all, man. So salute to you, Chris. Sean Browning, what up? Stevie B, what up? What is up, Stevie B? And what is up, Jonathan? Now, he is OG, man. He's always there bright and early for us. Whatever the show, rain or shine, he is there. Jonathan, salute to you. FJ with the message of the night so far. Yankees can spend without Stroman. They just won't. There you go, bro. That's the fact in a nutshell. That is it in a nutshell. That is it in a nutshell. Stephen B. Like the new intro, Donald. Thank you, my guy. Thank you. It's certainly lively, isn't it? Stevie B says Red Sox are interested in Bregman, but they're capping at 5 years. Yeah, so apparently they want to go no more than 4, but the issue is there's actually teams that are coming in with 5 for Bregman. None of that seems that bad. 4 or 5 years is not that bad for a Bregman. I mean, if you're talking 7 or 8, got an issue. 4 or 5, shit. Embarrassing that the Yankees aren't involved. Really, real talk. Got John the Beagle Dad. Salute John the Beagle Dad. How are you? Got Dev Finch. What is up, man? What is up? How you doing, Dev? Thank you for checking us out. John the Beagle Dad. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up, brother? What up? What up? So, anybody who's watching, hop on over to YouTube, get in those comments, and let's start a conversation. Let's start a conversation. Because we got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. We do. Sean, Cashman usually builds up stockpile for orchestrating trades. So with the flurry of depth moves, Cashman is preparing for a trade, but it's in stealth mode. I mean, we're talking super ninja mode here, if that's the case. But don't you think it's concerning that agents and other teams are saying that the Yankees are in a holding pattern? Isn't it an awful look? I mean, that's just the reality. It's a horrible look. And it makes me feel like this is a PR stunt. This whole Yankee offseason and the Yankee offseason before, it just feels like it's a PR stunt. Because the Yankees never really put their money where their mouth is. They very rarely do. Whatever they do, it usually feels like it's service. It's a bit of mouth service. They do a little bit of something as a kind of a service, but they don't really go all in. They never really have. Now, real talk, guys, and anyone who wants, I don't want people to disagree with me. If you want, hop in the chat. We'll debate it. I'm cool. I'm open to suggestions, but the last time the Yankees went all in was 2009. That's a long time ago. That is a long time ago, guys. 2009. Baseball is a different sport then than it is now. The financial culture back then is different than it is now. It's a completely different playing field. So that was the last time the Yankees were all in. The Yankees haven't been all in since then. 2010, after they won the World Series, Hal mandated to lower the budget. That's a fact. And it's been that case for a while. And it always feels like we get the same stuff. We get the same stuff. We get the same mouth service. We're still all in for a championship. We're still all about championships. Get that stuff. We're still committed to building a championship roster. The ownership's commitment is unwavering to building a championship roster. We get it. Cool. But they always feel like they're a move or two short every offseason. And it's been that way for a long time. And I've always, in my time following sports, writing about sports, commentating on sports, any team that comes up with a list of excuses tends to be teams that don't end up on the top of the hill by the end of the year. That just tends to be how it is. Because have any of you guys heard a single word from the LA Dodgers? I ain't heard nothing. The only thing I've heard from them is them laughing at the Yankees, literally laughing. That is the only thing I've heard from the Dodgers. They don't do the PR. They don't do any of that shit. They just sign everybody and they just get on with their business of trying to win. The Yankees, on the other hand, oh my God, they can't stop talking. They can't stop talking. And that's what I have an issue with. Because Brian Cashman loves to give us the top. And I'm starting to think that maybe the Yankees are a little bit more into PR than they are about going all in on a championship. Now, you guys can disagree. I'm just saying, this is my opinion, because the Yankees haven't won a championship since 2009. They haven't gone all in on a championship since 2009. What did the Yankees do, for instance, when Aaron Judge signed for the big extension after he hit the 62 home runs and he was on his own on an island? Nobody was helping him that year, right? And the Yankees got completely whitewashed and swept by the Astros, right? What did the Yankees do after they brought in Aaron Judge? Real talk. What did the Yankees do after they brought back Aaron Judge? Rodon. How did that work out for them? Anything else? Anything else? No. And what did Aaron Judge ask? He asked to build a championship roster. The Yankees haven't done it. They did nothing. Jonathan says not much. Right. Sean says Rodon. How did that work out for them? It just feels like a lot of PR. Right? It feels like they make a statement move to service the fan base, to keep us off their back, and then they kind of just ease off after that. That's what it feels like. So then we fast forward to them missing the playoffs, right? We got a whole lot of it, whole host of excuses after they missed the playoffs, right? So then what did they do as a result of that? They brought in Juan Soto. Generational. But do you think that was a little bit of a PR stunt? Because what did they do after they brought in Juan Soto, right? And I can quote, because Brian Cashman loves to talk, and you know he does. Brian Cashman, what did he say? He said, "We want the Yankees to be," and I quote, "the mecca of baseball." That's what he said. I didn't say it. I certainly wouldn't have said it, because it's a risky thing to say. Brian Cashman says he wants the Yankees to be the mecca of baseball. Right? And he says that they're all in. They're not going to stop. Stay tuned. There's a whole lot of stuff to be excited about after bringing in Juan Soto. What did they do? Verdugo. That was even before Soto. What did they actually do? This is what they did. They signed Marcus Stroman to a contract which is undesirable to the rest of the league. Marcus Stroman, who they didn't trust in the playoffs, made every excuse to refuse to pitch him in the playoffs, and now are very publicly trying to get rid of him. Because they're now using his $18.5 million, which isn't even that high, as the reason to stop doing any business whatsoever. This is the Yankees we're talking about. This is not the Oakland A's. This is not other organizations. This is the New York 27 championships Yankees. This is the Yankees. And they're using an $18 million contract, not $180 million, not $280 million, $18 million, as a reason to shut up shop. And we're supposed to take that. Well, I'm not. I think that's an embarrassment. It's a horrible look. It really is. And more needs to be said about it. There's not enough people that are saying that this is unacceptable because this is a joke. It's a joke, guys. This is a team. If had we won the World Series, that would be one thing, but we lost the World Series. And we lost the one guy that got us there, Juan Soto. And so their answer to losing the one guy that got you to the World Series, and their answer to getting completely embarrassed in the World Series, which we did. Again, not enough people are talking about how much we got embarrassed in the World Series. We did. Their answer to all that is to use Marcus Stroman, who they didn't use in the playoffs, as an excuse not to do anything because they're tied up. Great. That's just great. That's why I just feel like it's a whole lot of PR from the Yanks. Okay, so we go back to that last offseason. Whole lot of PR, mecca of baseball. We want to be the mecca of baseball. What did they do? Brought in Stroman. What else did they do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right? They went into the regular season with a malfunctioning infield. Right? We went into the offseason. We went into the regular season last year telling us that Anthony Rizzo was in the best form of his life. He looks unbelievable. What did we get from Anthony Rizzo? Anthony Rizzo looked cooked. Right? We also got DJ LeMahieu. He's in the form of his life in spring. I'm telling you guys, this is a whole lot of PR. The Yankees give us unbelievable PR and we all buy it because we want to buy it. We're desperate to buy it because we're all Yankee fans. So, the PR. DJ LeMahieu is in the best form of his life. You should see the swings. Even Aaron, I'm quoting sports writers. You know the ones. I'm quoting the Yankee sports writers. I'm not going to mention the names, but you know which ones. Cashman's laptop loyal. Oh, he's in the best form. You should see his swings. Even Aaron Judge is looking in awe at DJ LeMahieu's swings. How did DJ LeMahieu look last year? Cooked. But that was after he was injured for about 6 months. Right? So it's a whole lot of bullshit, a whole lot of PR. Right? So we carried on the PR. Right? Verdugo playing like horse shit. After a really hot start, he played like horse shit for 3 months. Did anything happen? No. In fact, they made more excuses to keep playing him. While Jason Dominguez is ready to go. Whole lot of PR. A whole lot of PR. So then we get into the trade deadline. And what did they do? They brought in Jazz. Cool. Right? One issue with that is he's a second baseman asked to play third base, which he'd never played before. So he was learning third base on the fly during a pennant run. And to be credit to him, he actually did pretty well. But he was moved, and this was what the problem was, he was moved to third base in order to placate Gleyber Torres, who they had no interest in bringing back this year. Didn't even pick up his qualifying offer. Didn't even make an offer. Wanted nothing to do with him. So Jazz Chisholm had to move to placate someone that they had no interest in having moving forward. And all that did was it put because Torres was so bad playing defense. You had a below average second baseman, you had a third baseman learning on the fly. And you had first base, which was a problem because Anthony Rizzo was having a horrible year. That was their answer. So again, how does that explain the mecca of baseball talk? Right? Then there were some names that came up during the deadline. And it was between us and the Dodgers for these names. Right? we were in on. We liked Edmund. We liked Kopech. We liked Jack Flaherty. We got none of them, and they all went to the Dodgers, and they all played really, really well for the Dodgers, and all helped them win a championship. Does that sound to you like it's the mecca of baseball? I'm honestly, I'm not being a hater. I'm just honestly giving you guys what the facts were and what's happened. And none of this has worked out. It just feels like we get a lot of PR. And it's very unfortunate because you had Juan Soto playing in the form of his life, you had Aaron Judge in the form of his life. Right? That's what we had. And the Yankees didn't take advantage of it. And that's incredibly, incredibly upsetting. Because you're not guaranteed a Soto every year. In fact, we were only guaranteed him for 12 months. And you're not guaranteed Aaron Judge to hit 58 home runs every year. Even though he does make it look pretty easy in the regular season, you're not guaranteed it. You don't know what's going to happen. You saw what happened when he broke his foot the year prior to Soto coming in. What happened? We missed the playoffs entirely because we don't have enough of a roster around him. So I get a lot of. I think the Yankees are PR merchants until proven otherwise. Because the teams that don't talk tend to be the teams that do the best work. And I'm looking plainly at the Dodgers. Now, we have 127 people in the chat, which is awesome, which is why we got a Saturday evening show. We got a whole lot of people that are interested in talking some Yanks here on Yankified Podcast. So I couldn't say thank you enough to all you guys who are spending your Saturday evenings an hour before a Knicks game or an hour before whatever show you're going to watch, and you want to sit and take that time to sit and watch me talk about this Yankee team, break things down, give you real talk. And I really do appreciate that. And it would mean everything if you guys could hit the like button. If you're watching on X, if you could do me the service of hopping onto YouTube and hitting that like button, it would really help the algorithm and growing this channel. The next target is 1.1K, then 2K, then 3K. And you know what you're going to get. You're going to get someone who doesn't buy bullshit. You're going to get it straight from the heart. I'm a passionate dude. That's it. Like it or not, I'm a passionate dude. And I hold the Yankees to an incredibly high standard. But guess what? It's not an unrealistic standard. It's the exact standard that they talk about themselves. So I'm just holding them to it. Oh, we're going to be the mecca of the baseball, but then you don't follow it up? Well, you're going to get me to follow you up for you. How about that? How about that? So let's see what people have got to say in the chat. Let's go. Troy. Cashman refuses to give to get, always has. Yeah, that's a very good point. Salute to you, Troy. Thank you for hopping on. CWE, how can anyone defend Hal? I'm going to talk about Hal in a minute. Sean, usually Yankee front office is more secure than Fort Knox. I love that. Good point. FJ, the Yankees are going to let DJ, Peraza, and Cabrera fight it out for the third base job during spring training. Cashman might sign a bench piece. CT says, good stuff as always, Donald. Thank you, man. Hope you catch the rest of the show later on. Acevedo, this is some bullshit. We start the road to third place. If Yankees flop next season, how going to be burning money? CWE, Yankees no longer the mecca. That is fact. Dodgers have been the preferred team in the last 3 years. Spot on, Jonathan. Thank you so much for your support, my guy. Here's Sean with an excellent point. The PR is just Jedi mind tricks or a smokescreen. Thank you. Pistol Pete. One thing we don't talk about is that Hal is the head of the competition committee with the low spending teams like the Marlins. He doesn't want to go way over because it's in his wall. Well, it's in his wallet's self-interest. That is a good point because what do we consistently hear from Hal Steinbrenner? It's never that he'll do whatever it takes. He always says things like, what did he say during the Juan Soto negotiations? He said it's not sustainable to have such a high payroll. Imagine saying that after the Yankees lost the World Series. It's not sustainable. This payroll is not sustainable. What isn't sustainable? That's what I want to know. What, the tax that goes to the other teams? Well, there's going to be, I'm sorry, there's probably going to be a lockout in 2 years. It's going to be a completely different framework of baseball in about 2 years' time. I guarantee it. So until then, the Yankees need to start getting involved in an arms race with the Dodgers. If you look at the Forbes list of most valuable teams, the Yankees are the number one most valuable MLB team. Not just MLB team, I think they are the joint top most valuable franchise in the world of sports, along with, top of my head, ahead of Real Madrid, I think ahead of Manchester United, and behind the Dallas Cowboys. That's how valuable you are. You're an incredibly valuable franchise. Look at the attendance numbers. They're only behind the Dodgers in attendance. They bring in tons of money. Tons of money. Yankee Stadium is basically like a tourist trap after Madison Square Garden. If you're talking about like sporting venues in the state of New York, it's MSG and Yankee Stadium and no one else, nowhere else. So it's a tourist trap as well. They're making tons of money. They have the judges' chambers. They sell judge frickin' hamburgers or whatever nonsense bullshit. They sell tons of money. This logo transcends baseball. Only the Dodgers logo transcends baseball along with the Yankees. Those are the only two logos that transcend baseball, and I can tell you that for a fact because I've spent time living in Europe, and there's only two logos that you see around the world. It's this and the Dodgers. And do the Yankees take advantage of that? No, they don't. And that is why I'm annoyed. The Yankees are too good for this poverty shit. They are. Jacob says, Donald, my guy. Jacob, my guy. Salute to you, Jacob. How are you? Sean, again, doubling down on what I said, that what the PR talk was after they brought in Soto. That was 24 hours after Soto. Sean says, Hal's not cheap, he is selective. That's a very good point. Ken, excellent point here. Donald, the roster construction since 2009 has been a shit show. Beautifully put. The Yankee philosophy has to bring in power bats. No consistency in bringing in contact bats. Situational hitting is crap. Sing it from the frickin' bleachers, brother. Absolute facts. Absolute fact. Pistol Pete. He's getting hot, and I like it. $700 million in revenue. Made World Series last year. And payroll goes down. Thank you. Hal doesn't really care about the Yankees in his heart. He probably just follows the box score through the summer on his yacht. From what I've heard, I will say that he is not the most active owner. He isn't the most active, hands-on owner. And to be honest, I wouldn't say that he doesn't care. I think he does care about the Yankees. I think he does care about the Yankees. But he also cares about this. And I don't think he's definitely not a baseball guy. That is a fact. He's just not a baseball guy. And he is not active. He isn't active enough because they haven't done enough. And it's not just from what I've heard. How about just from what you guys see? He isn't active enough. So how about after we missed the playoffs, and it was an embarrassment missing the playoffs, right? In an expanded wild card year, we couldn't even make a wild card, right? Because Aaron Judge went down, and then we were using the Little Sisters of the Poor to fill out the outfield because we had no roster depth. We had nothing. We're just using other teams' scraps, waiver wire pickups, the whole lot. This is the Yankees we're talking about. And we just basically had a whole roster of quadruple A players. And then we got a whole lot of bullshit. A whole lot of PR. Oh, it's just coming around the corner. This hot streak's coming around the corner. There was no hot streak coming. It was a bad roster. It was a badly put together roster. And too many people defend it because it was a badly constructed roster and it blew up in their face once Aaron Judge went down. To be honest, it was a blessing that he went down. Why? Because it showed exactly what the Yankees' problem is. They lack depth, their roster construction is a mess, and they've over-relied on Aaron Judge to bail them out. So what did they do that offseason? Nothing. Nothing. They did nothing. The only move they made was bring in Juan Soto, who once again papered over the cracks because the roster construction wasn't good enough. Mike Fishman, who has been a problem in the Yankee front office for so long, he's outdated. He isn't smart. He's a terrible analytics guy, and he's the head of analytics. What did they do with analytics? Because their analytics was a disaster that year. What did they do? I think they brought in some dudes just hired by Mike Fishman to look at it. That's it. Did anything happen of it? No, we never heard anything of it. That was it. Great. What else did they do? Kept the same GM. Fine. Whatever. Kept Aaron Boone. Of course they did. Right? Did they do anything? No. Brian Cashman came out and says we're pretty effing good, actually. We're pretty effing good. So that really tells you everything about the way the Yankees like to do things. What did they do after the Yankees got swept by the Astros? Real talk. What did the Yankees do after they got swept by the Astros? Here's what they did. Aaron Boone said it was the weather. It was the weather. That was the problem. Yeah, right. The stadium being open really messed with us. That's what he said. That's great. That's great. What else did they do? Nothing. In fact, they blamed the fans for booing. Yeah. Great. Did they do anything? No. In fact, Brian Cashman says that he would never fire Aaron Boone because Aaron Boone does exactly what he's asked him to do. He basically quoted that. He's never going to fire him because he does exactly what he's asked to do. Right. So I'm just telling you guys, I don't think the Yankees are a serious organization when it comes to winning. I think they give us some. I think they give us a little bit of talk, and I think they are happy to make the playoffs. And beyond that, I think they call it a crapshoot and leave it as it is. That's what I think it is. And from 2009, I haven't really seen anything that gives me any other reason other than that opinion. Because their construction of their roster has not been good since 2009. Ken's right. I've said this in previous shows. The Yankees let go of the World Series MVP, Hideki Matsui, and brought in Nick Johnson. And you guys, if you guys weren't old enough in the chat to see how bad Nick Johnson was, I can't even describe what a horrible baseball player Nick Johnson was. I'm actually amazed that he actually made a career out of being a professional baseball player. He was a horrendous baseball player. Horrendous. He was like the Aaron Hicks of first baseman, but with less ability, believe it or not. And that was their answer. That was their answer. And since then, it's just been a whole lot of kind of being a good team, but not going all the way. And that's why we're at this. That's we're at this stage again. Another year, exactly the same situation. So let's see what else the rest of the chat have got to say. Really appreciate. There's 160 people in the chat and growing. Let's see what else we got here. Well, we got tons of comments here. Evans, good to see Evan in the chat. Judge was carrying that team until he got hurt. CWA, Cashman, Boone, Howell, all gotta go. I don't know if I'm calling anybody to be fired. I'm just calling shit for shit is what I'm doing. FJ, after Howell re-signed Judge and signed Rodon, fans kept hearing, "We're not done." They were done. Thank you. Give yourself a pat on the back, FJ. You're getting a star for that because that is a fact. Pistol Pete, Aaron Boone is Cashman. Sock puppet. Exactly. I think the way that this front office hierarchy works is Mike Fishman is protected by Brian Cashman. Hal Steinbrenner is also defended by Brian Cashman. And Brian Cashman is defended by Aaron Boone. In other words, there's less focus on winning and being the very best and more focus on protecting everybody's reputation. That's a big statement to make, but I've not seen anything that tells me otherwise. I think Cashman has this year better defense and run prevention, but we need a bat and defense are first and third base. Yeah, we do. Estimated 2032 is our next World Series championship timetable. And we're on that road. Oh my God. Well, you better buckle up. And the A blank defends the Three Stooges. Right. Well, I'm not. Yeah. You'll never get me defending nonsense, man. Because I'm sorry. Circling back to this very point, the idea that the Yankees shut up shop because of Marcus Stroman is shameless. In fact, scrap that. Shameful. Shameful. Because that's what it is. It's $18 million. It's not a hard cap. It's not a salary cap. There is no fine for going over 303 other than you pay a little bit more tax. That's it. But the Yankees PR has managed to get to about, I would say about 40% of this fan base. I would say 60% of this fan base is very much, in fact, I could probably go as far as say 70% of this fan base doesn't buy it anymore. But there is 30% that are loyal to a fault and will buy whatever the Yankees buy. Whatever the Yankees sell, they'll buy. They'll show up every night, and the Yankees rake in the money, and then they just they serve us the nonsense. We're going to make it baseball. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. For what? What are we staying tuned for? You've not done anything. Stay tuned. Make it baseball. We're going to stockpile talent. We're hearing the same shit over and over again. Blah, 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 blah. Nonsense. Not done anything. The Yankees won December. That's what they won. They won December, but they've done nothing in January. And I can give you the exact timetable as to when I got worried about this Yankee offseason. When they signed Goldschmidt. Because that gave me every red flag. That gave me every neon sign that the Yankees were focused on Hal's salary cap than going all in. That's why. That was the exact point. Because I was doing the maths in my head. I was like, this is before we signed Goldschmidt. I was looking at the roster and I was like, we don't have a third baseman, we don't have a first baseman, and we're about $12.5 million under the Cohen tax threshold. I wonder if the Yankees are just going to sign somebody for 12.5 and call it good. Boom. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe I can know the Yankees better than they know themselves. 24 hours later, Goldschmidt signs for $12.5 million. Then after that, Joel Sherman confirms that the Yankees very much have a Cohen tax limit, and that's that. So now we have to wait to try and shed an undesirable contract that the rest of the league don't want, just for them to sign some bits and pieces. And by the way, 18 and a half, good luck. Good luck. Good luck getting two lefty relievers and a quality third baseman that can hit for a bit of power, a bit of average, get on base regularly, and play defense. Do all that for under 18.5. If they can do it, God, I hope so. Troy. Yep, because it should have been Walker. Thank you. That's exactly. Safe situation. Trust the process. LOL. Exactly. Trust the process. Wait, there's only 21 likes? There's almost 200 people in the chat. The math ain't mathing, guys. Head on over YouTube, hit that like button. Yeah, the problem was actually the vesting option. The problem wasn't the 18.5. You can live with the 18.5. The problem was the dumb option that they have where if he pitches 140 innings, he gets a massive bonus that no team wants anything to do with, including the Yankees. So the hypocrisy and the hilarity is just too much. The bullshit is just too much for me not to call it out. So the contract that they're using as an excuse not to make this a better roster is the contract that they signed willingly and that for a player who they didn't trust the year before, and that was the big mecca of baseball move after Juan Soto. Do you guys see where things aren't adding up here? Am I the only one that sees how things are not adding up? I don't think so, because everybody in the chat seems to agree. Things are not adding up. Things are not adding up to what they say and what they do. All I'm asking them to do is to back up what they say. No more than that. Michael Kay defends the Three Stooges because he's employed by them. I understand. But he keeps using this excuse. You don't need a $600 million payroll to win. You Yankee fans are so ungrateful. I haven't asked for a $600 million payroll. I haven't. I haven't even asked for a $350 million payroll. The Yankee payroll is 303 right now. I'm not even asking for another $40 million off the payroll. All I'm asking is for them to seek out the best third baseman on the market. If it's Alec Bregman, get him. If it's Arenado, that's their belief, then fine. It's better than this current option of DJ LeMahieu and nothing. If that is their belief, I want them to scout out the best third baseman that they think that they can acquire. If it's Nico Horner, if it's Luis Arias to play second, if it's whatever it is, someone that they've scouted out that they believe is the answer to third base that can help us win a championship, I want that person to be third base for the New York Yankees at the start of the regular season, regardless of Marcus Stroman's contract. Because guess what? You can shed Stroman's contract at any point between now and the end of the season, and they can still get under that tax threshold. That's why it's bullshit. That's why it's bullshit. And it's time to start holding them accountable. It's bullshit, guys. Bullshit. Don't believe it. The Yankees will not be a poverty-stricken franchise if they sign somebody after Marcus with on top of Marcus Stroman's contract. It's nonsense. What's John got to say? If the Yankees are only a couple of key players away and they refuse to go for it, they can go to a place that is very hot and has 4 letters in the address. John, welcome to the chat. It is a pleasure to have you on. You're spot on. Mark, I hope Elon Musk buys the Yankees because we ain't going nowhere with our cheap ownership. Yeah. Elon has fixed a whole lot of things. Maybe you can fix the Yankees too. What we need is I don't know, because I'm not going to say the house cheap, because, you offer Soto a gigantic contract, which we did, of $700+ million. It's certainly not cheap. The Aaron Judge contract, certainly not cheap. $300 million over a payroll is certainly not considered cheap. But my amendment to that is they don't go all in. Hal does not go all in. Hal is not that active. And there's not been enough accountability from what we saw in October, which was a disgrace, and where we are right now. And all I'm saying is, would other owners in exactly the same spot have done the same as Hal Steinbrenner? Because what was the result of being laughed at by the Dodgers, embarrassed by the Dodgers, have the worst meltdown in that one inning in the history of baseball? It's never been worse, right? You know that inning when Aaron Judge dropped the pop-up and all that shit. People didn't cover base and it was just a mess. Did anything happen? Real talk, guys. To the 200 people in the chat. What happened as a result of losing the World Series? Did any changes happen to the coaching staff which oversaw the fundamentals of that team? Nothing. That's the truth. What happened to that third base coach who has had all our players get thrown out at home plate? Nothing. What happened to the manager that oversaw all that? Nothing. What happened to the front office who failed to bring in the moves needed to win a world championship? Nothing. See where I'm going with this? They're far too content. They're far too self-content. And I'll be honest, I wasn't impressed by the way the Yankees played in that October run. Juan Soto and Stanton carried the Yankees. Stanton had to have one of the greatest Octobers I've ever seen in my entire life. And Soto had to have the best at-bat in modern Yankee history for the Yankees to make the World Series. Other than that, they were desperate to choke it away because they played like ass, especially defensively. But Soto and G, God bless them because their captain never showed up, carried the Yankees to a World Series. But it wasn't enough to beat a top-class Dodger team. But they still beat themselves in the Dodgers. Has anything happened? Lou's right. Judge is a postseason dud, and he's a captain apparently. Ridiculous. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. Like nothing has changed. It was an embarrassment, that World Series, and there's far too much contentment. Far too much contentment, and I see it around the fan base. So it's not just the front office and ownership. There's just too many people just happy and content just to make it there. That's not the Yankee way, man. Because I'm sorry, and it's not it goes beyond George, but the Yankees of old would never have accepted being that embarrassing on the world stage. That's true. I'm just telling it as it is. You don't win 27 championships and being the most successful franchise in the world of sports by being this cool with losing. And the Yankees seem very cool with it. So they lost like 50% of the reason why they made it to a World Series was him and Soto, him and Stanton. So we lost one of those two guys. And their answer to that is Goldschmidt, who's 40 on a 1 year deal, 37, but same thing. Coming off a horrible year, but a 1 year deal. Their answer to that is Cody Bellinger, an undesirable contract which the Cubs couldn't wait to get rid of because he was so bad the year before. And they were happy just to take on a middle reliever for him. Now, I think he's going to be good, but the Cubs were desperate to get rid of that contract. Is those two moves enough? Let's be honest. Are those two moves enough to move the needle? To say, oh, it's okay. We might have lost Soto and Torres, but these two guys coming in are more than make up for it. Because the goal every offseason is to be better than the year before. We have in terms of pitching, but offensively, absolutely not. John, their scouting and talent development teams leave a lot to be desired. They overvalue their prospects and refuse to bring them up until they no longer have any truth. Man, you are killing it, bro. John, we are gonna have a phone-in show. We're gonna have a call-in show one of these weeks, and I think you should come on in, man, because you are speaking facts sometime. Right here, you are speaking facts, and that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. If the Yankees are really hard and fast on these hard caps and salary caps, then they absolutely need to do a better job of their scouting and talent development. So that's why I don't think Hal's that necessarily that cheap, because $300 million is a high payroll. But if there is such a hard cap, then he needs to be he needs to be demanding more. He needs to be demanding more out of the people that work under him to do more. That's true. He needs to ask Cashman and his front office team and his analytics team and his coaching staff, he needs to be asking more out of them than he currently is. Because he seems very content. Far too content. And that's a culture that's been going on through this Yankee organization which sickens me. They're far too content. And that's why I preferred Soto than every Yankee last year apart from Stanton and Garrett Cole, because those are the only dudes that aren't content. They have a bit of fire. Luke Weaver is another one. Fire. I like guys with a bit of fire. The rest of that roster is just devoid of fire. Led by Mr. Blowing Pink Bubbles. Captain by Mr. Smart, wins a win, a loss is a loss. There isn't enough fire. Soto brought that fire. And without that, I'm looking at this team and there's just not much fire. Give me something for me to get invested in. Stevie B, Donald, are we ever going to panel on this down the road? Yeah, man. Remember, this is only like our 4th episode, so we absolutely have every intent. I have absolutely every intention of doing it. I want to make sure that we continue to build up a consistent viewership, fan base. Today's a great night for it. There's almost 200 people in the chat on all platforms. So it means a lot to me. Absolutely does. Absolute salute to all you guys. Um, once that once we're consistent on that, a couple of weeks down the line, then absolutely we'll have an open panel on a Saturday night, and all you guys, the OGs, the newbies, anyone who wants to disagree, hop on. Remember, it's an opinion show. I'm bringing in opinions. You might not agree with all opinions. Hop on and debate it. I love a good debate. So, Acevedo, Dodgers, great development. Fact. And just to follow up on John's point here, that's exactly it. The Yankees overvalue their prospects and refuse to bring them up. Best point? Peraza. I'm a big Peraza fan. Peraza is actually better defensively than Anthony Volpe. He's got much better arm, and he's got as good a range. He's got all the assets that you need. He's got a better bat. He's actually got better power in his bat than Anthony Volpe. From what I've seen, just seems to have a better swing, a little bit more consistent. He's got a much better ability of reading the strike zone than Volpe. And Peraza has been treated like yesterday's dinner. He's left out, he's left out for the dogs to eat the leftovers and thrown in the trash. We've not seen anything of Peraza. They treated him like garbage. What did they do with Andujar? Treated him like garbage. He was runner-up in the Rookie of the Year race. What did they do with him? Well, because he wasn't the greatest defender, they started chucking him all over the infield, chucking him all over the outfield. And he outperformed Aaron Hicks, but because they have an love relationship with Aaron Hicks, we never saw Andujar. But here's the thing. Brian Cashman admitted that Andujar, they got a lot of trade opportunities for Andujar over the years, and he rejected every one of them. What did they do with Andujar? I'll tell you what they did with Andujar. They DFA'd him. That's great. That's freaking great. Just shameless. Absolutely shameless. So give Peraza a chance at third then. Yeah, but the Yankees don't like Peraza. Stevie B. Oh, man. I want to go on, but today I'm at hospital with my wife, and she's okay. She's fluid, stomach, but ripped the electrolytes out of her. Yeah, man. I get it. There's a lot of bad flus going around, man. I get it. No, we're not doing anything tonight, but in a couple of weeks' time, we'll think about it. But I hope your wife gets better, man. As I say, there's a ton of flus going around. So stay safe and stay warm. Acevedo says they use the prospects to warm seats. And the Matrix, exactly. That's what they did the last year with Vivas. Vivas was called up, hot prospect, and they had him up for one night. He was on the bench for that one night. God, I hope that bench view was so good that it's completely changed the trajectory of his career. Because otherwise, what a waste. What did they do with Dominguez last year? Well, they treated him like shit. Yeah, this is the guy they're going all in on to replace for them to replace Soto with. They had him against Tarek Skubal as the 27th man. Then stuck him in left field without any reps. This is the Yankees that we're supposed to believe in. I don't believe in it. What would you say to this idea? Trade Arraez, if available and use Perez as a defensive replacement in the late innings. Yeah, keep Jazz at third. With Arraez, at least you have a great leadoff hitter. Dude, you're preaching to the choir. That's actually one of the ideas I have. I'm annoyed by the modern narrative that, he's just a singles hitter. As if batting .330 is a bad thing. Only in modern baseball is batting .330 a bad thing. There's no difference as if you're on base with a walk or on base with a single. You're still on base. Now, is Arraez the fastest dude? No. Is Arias the best defender? Absolutely not. Not even close. But at least he will be a really good leadoff hitter. And it will give you a little bit of excitement, and at least he will lengthen the lineup. Acevedo Dominguez was kept in the minors for a guy that was batting 079 at the time. Exactly. That was my point at the start of the show. I was like, they kept making excuses to tell us why Dominguez is a better player. No, sorry, wrong one. Kept saying that Verdugo was a better player than Dominguez. Brian Cashman kept saying, we're not going to call up Dominguez because Verdugo gives us a better chance to win. So that's a slap in the face to your top prospect, one. And then two, before you know it, Dominguez is now our everyday everyday outfielder going into this year without a backup. So what the hell has happened in the space of a couple months? It better be night and day. Because what a weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to say. Your top prospect, and you're telling us all that Verdugo, who had like a 500 OPS for like most of the second half of the year, is a better player than Dominguez. What a weird narrative to put out there. Anyway, you're always whatever the situation, man. We're gonna root for our team. We're gonna support our team, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna call out bullshit when I see it. And I'm sorry, but the way that the Yankees keep saying that they are the mecca of baseball is ridiculous. I'm not putting up with it. Now, let's get to the next segment of our show before we close off the segment. The next segment is we're going to look at the news today. That's what we're going to do. We are going to look at the news today, and we are going to get into all the talk of the town in Yankee world. Oh, FJ, I'm not going anywhere, brother. I've still got a little bit left in me. I've got a few more rants left in me. Thank you, FJ, though. I am going to get into the Yankee news, and let's have a look and see what the situation is in a minute. So, there's been a lot of talk on Yankee Twitter. A lot of talk, and been some very interesting news. All kinds of stuff. A lot of things have happened. We've had CC Sabathia making the Hall of Fame, man. That was awesome. Salute to CC, man. That was great news. Very, very happy for him. He was a joy to watch. He really is. He was an absolute joy to watch. And so salute to him on being a Hall of Famer. Dude, absolutely deserved it. What a player. What a player. So, let's have a look at some of the Yankee news that has been of interest to me. So, salute to at Ryan Garcia ESM, Empire Sports Media. He's got the current projected lineup, and he says that it's projected as a 118 at WRC plus, which is down about 3 points from last season. Again, salute to him. This is a really good post here. They really feel one bat away from being a complete roster. They were never going to have last year's offense, but if it's close and they're better everywhere else, who knows? That's what the Yankees have to hope for. So, the projected WRC plus is Dominguez is 112, which is slightly above average. Aaron Judge, a massive 170. Okay. Chisholm, 114. Stanton, 117. Bellinger, 112. Goldschmidt, 114. So they've actually projected Goldschmidt to have a better year than Bellinger. And the same as Jazz Chisholm. Wells, 107. Volpe, 101. Cabrera, 98. Now, remember, that is the projected. That's the projected WRC plus. Don't you guys think that it's a little bit? What would you say? I would say it's a little bit optimistic because I want to look at the actual WRC plus for these dudes, right? Because I think that Anthony Volpe's WRC plus seems a little bit optimistic. So I'm going to go into what his WRC plus was over the past couple of years. Bearing in mind his OPS plus was 86, which is below average. And his on base percentage was 290, which is way below average. Are we supposed to believe that he's going to have a plus 100 WRC plus? I don't know. I don't know about that personally. It seems like a bit of a reach, but let's have a look and see. Yeah, his WRC plus was like 86 over the years. Let's see. Let's have a look and see. Right, so WRC plus. It was 2023. It was 82. 2024. It was 86. So they're telling us to expect it to jump up to 101. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I don't see it. So I disagree with that. Let's try Goldschmidt. I want to have a look at Goldschmidt's WRC. I think that Anthony Volpe's is a little bit of a reach. So I'm going to say Anthony Volpe's WRC plus will be about 95. That's what I'm saying. I think it'll be a slight improvement to last year, but still considered below average. That's what I say. His Goldschmidt's WRC plus. So look and see. Because I think a 114 WRC plus is a little bit optimistic for him too. His was 100, but it was 122 in 2023. So I guess they're going with like the average of between 24 and 23. So I guess 114, I would say about 110, 112 maybe. So I guess that's fair. Let's look at Austin Wells. So they're telling us that he's about to have a big WRC plus year. I'm not convinced yet because we need to see more consistency from him. He really fell off a cliff. And let's see here. So his WRC plus in the postseason in 2024 was 50. So that's obviously not great. So it was 105 in 2024. Okay. So they're saying that it's about 107. Yeah, okay, I can see that. I think Volpe is a stretch. Volpe is going to be below that. Everything else looks fair. But we don't know what the impact is for Judge and Stanton without Soto and without a leadoff hitter. So that could affect the rest of the lineup. But that is the projection anyway. Yes, of course, my favorite, Aaron Boone blaming the weather for the sweep to the Astros. I bookmarked that from 2 years ago because it was that hilarious. Just to, once again, Brian Cashman, we appreciate what Gio has done, but he's not Josh Donaldson. This is the kind of moves that Brian Cashman does. Okay, now let's get back to the modern recent week. Joel Sherman, Yankees will probably not be making any moves until they can clear up as much of Stroman's contract as possible by trading him. Salute to him. All right, let's look at BR walk-off, where all 30 teams rank as of now. They have the Dodgers number 1, the Mets number 2, the Yankees number 3, Phillies number 4, Padres number 5, the Orioles number 6, the D-backs number 7, the Braves number 8, Guardians number 9, Mariners number 10. Well, first of all, I don't have the Yankees in the top 3, but nor do I have the Mets second. The Mets are basically Juan Soto, and they've done nothing else. So it's like Dodgers, and they're on like another level, they're basically in another stratosphere. And then I think it will be National League teams after that. I like the Phillies, the Padres, the Braves, the Mets. I think the Yankees are a bit better than the Mets, actually. I'd probably have the Yankees maybe 6th. You could argue the D-backs because I really like some of the moves they made this offseason. And watch out for the Astros. I think the Astros are going to be something serious. So keep an eye out on them. Salute. The one thing the Yankees did right this week was honor CC Sabathia, Bronx legend, baseball great, first ballot Hall of Famer. Salute to the CC man. We absolutely love you, CC. What a player. What an absolute fighter. At Talking Baseball, this is hilarious. AJ Minter going after Yankee fans. You can tell these Met fans are truly baseball fans. They gotta have something, right? Not like the other side of town. Oh, AJ. Oh, you salty, bro. Oh, bro. I'm sorry. We don't want you, bro. You stay over on that side of town. Why are the Mets so obsessed with the Yankees? Like, I want to know. What is this goes to Met fans. What is your major malfunction? What's your issue? You just got Juan Soto. Why do you need to keep talking about us? You guys are obsessed. Let it go. You know? Take our posters off the wall. Move on. Block our number. Block us on social media. Move on with your lives. Because we don't give a fuck about yours. Right. Eric, it's apparent that the Yankees under Hal Steinbrenner are going to work within the confines of the CBT. They value profits. Yep. IFA money. Yep. And draft picks. Cash ball is never leaving, so they will end every offseason a move or two short. At Medic968, bro, you are just repeating exactly what I've been saying over this past hour. That is exactly what it is. The manager has to be a yes man. Applaud this post because that is spot on. That's exactly how I view it. Johnny Lasagna, salute to him at J Lasagna. A live look at the Yankees covering the gaping hole in the lineup with DJ LeMahieu. And it's dude's toe burst through his shoe and they're just covering it up with spray paint. That's exactly what it is. That's absolute facts. Salute again to Ryan Garcia. If true, this is pathetic because this is in relation to Joel Sherman. Agents and opposing teams describe the Yankees more in a holding pattern with the sense that they have to clear as much as Stroman's 18 mil as possible to free up dollars to shop elsewhere. Ryan Garcia says, if true, this is very pathetic. The Yankees have told you they're the mecca of baseball. They lied to the fans with that statement. Exactly. Facts. Now, there has been some IFA news from at Yankee Farm. Let's have a look and see what they've done. Brought in Manuel Cruz, Stalin Ramirez, Luis Rodriguez, Hector Moreno, Andre Villa, Yoseker Kalina, Randy Angomas. We'll see if any of these guys pay off. Got Juan Torres, Isaiah Castillo, Edison Charles, Eliza Adams, Sebastian Ramirez, Kevin Centeno, Luis Donye, Manny Cedeno, Ruben Castillo. So they've made those following IFA moves. We'll see if any of them really pay off. And I like this one at Yanks Superfan. I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them. From Andy Bernard from The Office, you got to look at it. Joe Torre there holding a ring. George Steinbrenner, a proper owner, proper manager, the proper World Series. That's when the Yankees were good, guys. And salute to Lindsey Berra. That's my dad with Grandpa Yogi at Yankee Stadium after the 1951 World Series. I love this photo. That is very cool. Yogi Berra, the GOAT. Very, very cool. I do appreciate uh, Lindsey Berra. She's done some great work. She was part of that movie that they made for Yogi Berra. I watched it on a plane back to New York like a couple of years ago. I thought it was a great movie. So salute to her. More people are absolutely pissed, and so salute to at the Yanks center, Rod. It's disgraceful that the Yankees, after World Series loss, are cutting payroll like a small market team. A franchise built on dominance and winning shouldn't have to shed salaries to make moves. It's pathetic and embarrassing. Facts. And at Yankee Source, spring training is a few weeks out, and the Yankees are still short of an infielder and have some depth issues on the bench. They are signing up for big trouble if they fail to act. So those are the news that I wanted to share to you guys. Man, I think there's some really good posts there. That's something that we're going to get into. Donnie Clark, Donald made a great international signing with Cedeno. Donnie Clark also says Hal has money and it makes me sick. They're obviously not using it. Tony Baseball in the house. Salute, Tony, man. How are you? Right. Facts, bro. Absolute facts. Good to see everybody in the chat. What's John the Beagle Dad said? Stop the tape. You heard right. We stuck at third place. Tired of watching the Yankees with runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs and bringing no runs across. Want to throw a few bricks at the TV. Wasted opportunities. That's right. And guess what? Soto was one of the only dudes that knew how to bring runners across. And we lost him. Donnie Clark, hit those likes and subscribe. That's why I want Arise. Because at least Arise knows what to do situationally. Jonathan says the Knicks game is starting. Thank you, my guy. Because I do have a Knicks jersey on. Even though the Knicks are nigh on unwatchable, I will be turning them on in about 10 minutes. But that's where we're at. That is where we're at, guys. I think it's disgraceful. That it's out there in public that the Yankees are in a holding pattern over Marcus Stroman. And it's really important that we call out the hypocrisy and the straight up lies that we've heard from the organization, that we're going to be the mecca of baseball, that we're going to stockpile talent, that stay tuned. These are all things that Brian Cashman has said verbatim, and I quote. And it's all over because of Marcus Stroman, who Brian Cashman signed. Which is another aspect to this, which is so hilarious. This will be my final point, almost my favorite point, before I sign off. It's almost insane when you think about it. Brian Cashman and the Yankees are operating like they've just inherited the $40 million of dead cap money. They're acting like they've inherited another front office's problems. That's what they're acting like. We can't do anything because we've got this Marcus Stroman contract. Hello? Yo, Brian? Hello, open the door. Bro, you signed Marcus Stroman. Not anyone else. Yeah, you did. What are you talking about? So you're using the contract that you signed, that you gave out, as a reason why you can't make any further moves. And the $40 million is DJ LeMahieu and his ridiculous contract. Aaron Hicks, who we're still paying off, and he was one of the worst baseball players I've ever seen in my life. I despise that man. Always will. We're still paying him off, and he's been gone a couple of years. and Marcus Stroman, which was a mistake. So we got $40 million tied up to mistakes. What could that $40 million have brought us, guys? That $40 million could have brought us Alec Bregman, could have brought us Tanner Scott. We could have made an incredible team out of this. But Kim, why not? But Jonathan says Yankees can't admit their mistakes. Exactly. The Yankees can't admit their mistakes. They refuse. Donnie Clark says Tim Hill. Exactly. Andrew Chafin. Exactly. An Arenado trade. Why not? Heck, instead of that 12.5 to Goldschmidt, you could have ponied up and gone to get Walker. A guaranteed 900 OPS guy. Guaranteed 30 homers, 100 RBIs to replace Juan Soto. Instead, they're asking two undesirable players to make up Juan Soto's numbers. Good luck with that. That's true. So I'm not seeing what the PR is. I love our pitching staff, great, but I don't like our offense. There's no on base percentage in this Yankee team, and there's a lack of situational hitting, and there's a lack of batting average. Things that kind of matter. I mean, you go through that lineup, man. We've been through it. You go through this lineup, and you tell me where the on base percentage is coming from. Dominguez. I mean, he's a rookie. I mean, what are we expecting here? I mean, anything that he gives you is a bonus. So I'm not sure what we're going to get yet. I think he's going to be good. I think he's our best prospect. I do, but I'm not sure yet. We have to see what he is over a whole year. But I think Dominguez could give you something. Judge. Okay, cool. He's going to get you on base percentage, but I'm worried that the lack of protection around him will mean that they're going to walk him a lot and they're not going to give him too many pitches to hit. And if I was an opposition manager, I'd be like, why pitch the Judge at all? Because there's no protection for him. Jazz Chisholm, he's a strikeout merchant, low batting average guy. I think he's someone that's better off mid to bottom of the order. Bellinger, he doesn't strike out too much, which is good, but he's not really an OBP guy either. Goldschmidt is coming off a career worst year, and he's 38, so he's in the downward part of his career. He maybe has a year, 2 years left in him. Austin Wells, I think he's good, but he's not an on-base percentage guy. Anthony Volpe, he's definitely not an on-base percentage guy. His on-base percentage was in the 200s. And Oswaldo Cabrera, I mean, what are we talking about? DJ LeMahieu, what are we talking about? So there's not much on-base percentage there, guys. So, I mean, I'm not being negative. I'm actually just giving you the facts. Like, what are we supposed to believe in that this team's going to go to the World Series with no on-base percentage? So, no on-base percentage and no third baseman. And all because of Marcus Stroman's contract, which they signed up for. They're the one that gave it out. A previous GM didn't give it out. Brian Cashman gave it out. So you are trying to tell me that you're trying to sell us on a World Series caliber team, and you're trying to tell us that one of the guys who you didn't trust in October, who you signed to a big contract and you can't trade off, is the one reason why you can't go and spend to make this a World Series caliber team? Sometimes I just ask the Yankees to listen to what they're saying. They think that we're all stupid. They really do. They say a lot of stuff, but and I guess they're banking on very few people to actually take the time to listen to them and read between the lines. And considering that's my profession, because I write for sports websites, I've read between the lines. And I'm like, yeah, that's a whole lot of PR. Not a lot of facts backing that up. Sorry, guys. I'm just giving you the truth. Adames was the pivot. And there's no reason why they couldn't have brought in Adames prior to the Soto negotiations being completed. They could have just gone and got him. Why not? CW, yeah, Yankees think that we're done. Exactly. They do. They think that we're not going to read between the lines. Lou's got a good point there. Adames was the pivot. For me, I felt third base was a bigger problem than first base last year. And what is the one position that they've ignored? Third base. Make that make sense. It's just shameless, man. Marcus Stroman. Where's Stroman? What has Stroman done to deserve getting publicly lambasted like this? And it's not Stroman's fault. He went out and pitched. He just wasn't very good. It was a bad contract. They shouldn't have brought him in. There were better guys out there. Jack Flaherty, for one. But Cashman let him go to the Dodgers to win a World Series. And by the way, he's a free agent right now, and he's a better pitcher than Marcus Stroman. So, of course, Cashman misread the market. He did. He misread the market. I think he misread the first base market because I don't think he was expecting that that Pete Alonso would be unsigned in January. Because now that Goldschmidt signing is looking a little bit iffy, considering Bregman is still available. Pete Alonso is still available. Both better players than Goldschmidt at this stage. So I kind of misread the market there. He misread the free agent market last year with the Marcus Stroman signing because did he really think that Stroman was going to be anything more than a one and done kind of a signing? You gave him a bunch of years, and now you can't trade it off because there's better free agents available this year in a slow-moving marketplace. I'm asking my GM to read the market, foresee the market, foresee the regularities and irregularities to free agency and how things are going to play out. That's what I'm asked my GM to do. I think he misread the market with the Stroman signing because it's an undesirable contract. So now the Yankees are in a tough spot. So apparently they have to move this contract before they sign anybody. Great. Well, I'll look forward to that then. As Jonathan says, the Yankees had a deal for Flaherty but backed out. Exactly. They had a deal, but they backed out. Even Flaherty has confirmed that. Judge is going to have a breakout year this season. What, break out more than the 62 home runs that he hit? I don't think so. Yeah, Yankees didn't like his physical. Well, he's absolutely fine. He's perfectly healthy. So the Yankees misread that. Who tied the Yankees' financial hands with several bad contracts was Brian Cashman. Not trolling, it's a fact. Exactly. I'm not trolling. I'm not hating. I actually have a lot of respect for Brian Cashman. I think he's good at his job. But I really hate the PR. I don't buy it. I don't like the PR. I think Cashman's good at his job. I think Cashman's had a decent offseason. I think it's a B offseason, like a solid offseason. Nothing as phenomenal as some people are making out. Not as bad as some others are making out. I just think it was kind of average, just slightly above average. I think that was an above average offseason. He's filled out some needs. He's made an interesting roster, but it's not nearly as deep as some make it out to be because our lineup is quite mid. Until they actually properly address it. If they can go and get a third baseman that can hit with some power and average, then our lineup will be so much better. Until then, I think our lineup is weak, and I do agree with CWE. Lou says Judge's stats are going to go down. I agree. I think they will. No, I don't think. I think he'll still have a decent year. I think it'll be still a good year. I think he'll still probably hit 50, as long as he's healthy. 49 at worst, but I don't see why teams are going to pitch to him. So Goldschmidt and Bellinger have to have great years. Stanton, I'm not worried about. Stanton's my man. Stanton's the one dude I want in the clutch. I don't want Judge in the clutch. I want Stanton in the clutch because he's the one dude that can handle it. But there's just not a lot of the rest of the lineup I trust in a big spot. Who do you want in a big spot? The rest of that lineup. Do you want Volpe in a big spot? Absolutely not. Austin Wells, he's not proven it yet. Dominguez, I'm not sure yet. I'm not seen. Jazz Chisholm, no. Who do I want in a big spot? It's a worry. Donnie Clark wants Arenado, yeah. Or Max Muncy. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, it's probably better than DJ LeMahieu, though, but. Ugh. Who could be the third baseman? Asked Jonathan. Well, it's not Bregman, which is annoying. I doubt it's going to be Donovan. I'm just hearing a lot of mid names, and that's why I'm pissed. Lou, very harsh reality. I agree. That's it. But I'm only speculating. A lot can change. Something can surprise me. Things can change. And remember, sports talk is very fluid. So these opinions now could change a week from now if the Yankees make a trade, and a significant trade. Then the next show will be like, damn, Cashman pulled it out. Because Cashman does have the ability to pull stuff out. He really does. He's not nearly as bad a GM as some make him out to be. He ain't, and he's got some ninja capabilities. So I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping upon hope that he pulls something out of the hat. But when you read reputable sources like Joel Sherman saying the Yankees are looking at, doing nothing until they shed off Stroman's contract, and the names that they're looking at are some really mid names, man. Really mid names. None that move the needle at all. Then they earn a rant for an hour and 32 minutes. I'm sorry. Because I'm only holding them to the same account as they've held for themselves. And that's the truth. So there's not enough likes, first of all, guys. So hit that like button. For those that have watched on X, I can see there's hundreds of you that have watched on X. If you guys could hop on to YouTube and hit the like button. If you haven't hit the sub button, hit the sub button. And for the subs, I'm gonna have an open panel, and then and that'll be in a couple of weeks' time. We'll have an open panel, and then anybody who wants to air their views, come on. Air your views, air your thoughts and feelings and stuff. I think there's a lot to be excited about this year. I mean, I don't want to come across overly negative. I think the Yankees will be competing. I think there will be a wild card team at worst. They'll be in the playoffs, I'm sure, but a whole lot has to go right for them to go even any further than that. A whole lot. And they need a third baseman. And they need to quit the PR, because I really hate the bullshit. Really hate the excuses. And whether you're a really optimistic fan or a really negative fan, it doesn't really matter. But those excuses are silly. You don't need to keep saying that you're the mecca of baseball. Let your moves do the talking. Let other people call you the mecca of baseball. Don't call yourselves the mecca of baseball without doing anything. And that's what the Dodgers do. They are the mecca of baseball right now because their moves have been doing the talking. They don't talk. They don't go on PR. They don't go on Baseball Tonight. They don't go on MLB Network. They don't go on the Michael Kay show telling us how brilliant the Yankees process is, their brilliant process is, how phenomenal they are, how they're incredible at their jobs, blah, blah, blah. Excuses, excuses, excuses. It was the wind's fault. It was Aaron Hicks. The fans booing Aaron Hicks' fault. Fans booing Josh Donaldson's fault. That kind of shit. They don't do that. They don't make excuses. They just get better. They spend money. They don't say that the payroll is unsustainable like Hal Steinbrenner does. They just go and get on with their jobs. And they try and get better year on year. We have the opposite. We have a whole lot of PR. We have guys that love to talk. And we have our owner that says our payroll is unsustainable. Doesn't make me feel too optimistic as a fan. Because trust me, I'm desperate to go to as many games next year as possible and root them on. As always, I'm desperate to buy the merch. I'm desperate to do all that stuff. But you've got to give me something. And a whole lot more than this. Right. That's that off my chest. Everybody, have a great rest of your weekends. Do check out the show on Sunday with Lynn and Sierra. And do check out myself, Rob, and Uncle Tats on Monday with the Prince Stripe Chronicles. I have no idea what we're going to talk about because I think I've covered a whole lot tonight and I don't even know if I've got a voice left. Anyway, guys, I do thank the 222 people that are in the chat right now. Do really appreciate it. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you to Sub CWE. Thank you to Lou. Thank you to Donnie Clark. Thank you to who else? John the Beagle Dad, Stevie B, John Bazzini. You know who you are. You all these OGs in the chat. All 200 of yous. Pistol Pete, Acevedo, Sean Browning, anyone I've left out, I still love you guys. All you guys, Marshall Brown, all you guys, Evan Spitzberg, salute to you. And thank you very much for the compliment. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. For those Knicks fans, let's go Knicks. And for those Yankee fans that are, how would we put it? Discouraged. Don't give up. We can still make this a good off season. We just need one good third baseman. Please, Cashman, please listen to this and get me a third baseman. For the love of God. Okay. Peace out, guys. Salute. See you on Monday. Let's go.